Okay, the first topic we're going to cover today is about pricing and promotions and discount functionality that we have in AX2012 feature pack. So the key things is the use of price groups and how they are used to basically assign pricing and discounts to retail stores. Then an overview of how the base price calculation works in terms of the use of trade agreements and the price adjustments. And then the sort of retail-specific discount offers that are available. And then there's also some functionality we added to make it easier to view what the actual price of a product in a specific channel is. So from a conceptual model, I think if you're familiar with how you set actually the price for a customer, it's kind of very similar what we're doing here in terms of setting price for a channel. So we're using a price group that is assigned to a retail channel, and which is basically then a retail store. And then this price group, like in AX, you also use all the trade agreements, whatever the sales price, line discount, multi-line discount, and total discounts. These are assigned then to the price group. The retail-specific functionality is then around the price adjustments, and then the actual discounts that are assigned to this price group as well. So the one thing about this is we actually have a so-called retail price group. It's really just the regular customer's price group, but we just put a sort of a checkbox on there that allows us to filter out in the UI. So if you assign it to a price to a retail channel, you only see the retail price groups. But other than that, it basically behaves the same way. So as I mentioned, the retail price group is really an extension of the customer price group, has the same functionality. You could actually assign a retail price group to a customer. We don't stop you. It's really just sort of more a UI functionality that kind of helps us filter it out. The retail store can have multiple price groups assigned. So if there are different ways of to set prices in terms of region, product, etc., you can just have special price groups. One price group can be assigned to multiple stores, so you can have like regional pricing with one price group, or you can have one price group that is very specific to one store, and then you have like really store-specific pricing. And the key thing is really it associates the store with the trade agreements and the discount. That is sort of the main functionality of how you can link the pricing structures to the actual location of where this price applies. The one thing that I kind of want to call out here is about since the stores are global, but the price group and trade agreements, discounts, etc., are still all legal entity specific. So you have to kind of be a little careful when you configure those prices, because you have to basically switch into the right legal entity, so you actually allow or assign the correct trade agreements to the store. There's still a little UI cleanup, I think, that we need to do in the upcoming release. And that I think right now we actually allow you to kind of assign a trade agreement to a store that will actually not apply. So we're kind of looking into making sure that we're kind of preventing that we're having the correct context and you cannot really kind of misconfigure it. So this is then the price group. The kind of thing that we added is this thing here. A checkbox that said, is it a retail price group? The checkbox really has just a UI filtering capabilities. It basically means if you're going to a retail channel and you want to assign a price group, it will only show those price groups with this checkbox checked. And then this basically shows how you assign this retail price group to a channel. So there's like a button in the ribbon that's called price groups. You can assign as many price groups to this store as you want. Then, excuse me, for the product price, this is kind of the base price that is kind of calculated for any product at POS. Is basically the first thing. It's POS will actually look at the retail price group and see if that is assigned and find the appropriate trade agreements. If there's a customer assigned to the POS transaction, it will also look at the trade agreements that are associated with this customer and this customer's price group. The POS will try to basically calculate the price exactly the way AX does it in a sales order. There are just a couple of caveats that I want to point out here. The sales price trade agreement applies exactly the same way. It can be for the store or for the customer. And based on some of the configuration settings, there's like on the trade agreement, if you're familiar with this checkbox that says find next. So we're doing the same thing at the POS. If the find next is checked, we evaluate all the trade agreements, pick the best price, and that is the price for it. If that checkbox isn't checked, basically the first trade agreement that we come across and works for this item, that's the price. Same behavior as the sales order. Then the next three sort of discount trade agreements for line discount, multi-line discount, and total discount. I kind of put a little asterisk there. The reason for that is they only apply if they're assigned to a customer or a customer price group. So in this release, you cannot assign a line discount price group to the retail channel. This is something we're kind of looking into and probably will change around as well. Similar, if you don't have a trade agreement set up, it will actually look at the base price that is set at the product itself. So this probably should look familiar. It's just a trade agreement, as you say, set it up, sales price, either for customer or the price group here. The West is the regional pricing that we're setting for some of the stores. Then the price adjustment is sort of a retail-specific enhancement that's currently only available in the POS, so it's the sales order will not actually look at that. But what this does is you have like a sort of a temporary reduction of a sales price. It's really you're reducing the price for this item for whatever specific period of time. So the options of doing this, you can do a percentage off, an amount off, or you just set a specific price. For the configuration, it's kind of easier because we're taking advantage of the categories that we saw yesterday. So you can basically put adjust the price for a whole category and then do it just with one line item and you have the pricing set for that. And then also it will support the validation period, and I will talk about that a little bit later, but that gives you more flexibility in terms of the time periods that you set up when this price adjustment applies. So it's just a quick view of how you configure this. We're going to go into a little more details of how that works when I do actually the demo. So this is a quick sort of overview in terms of how we're calculating it. So if there's a base price set up on the product, so that's kind of one of the starting points. If there's a trade agreement, even if it's higher, this is the one we're picking. So if there's anything assigned to the customer, the store, etc., this is the price that we're selecting. Then on top of that, you have the price adjustment that comes into play. if there are some line or multi-line discount trade agreements set up, there will be a comparison between those discounts and the price adjustment. And basically, the best price of that will be applied. So in this scenario, we're ending up with the product price of $8. So with that, I'm going to do a quick demo of how this is all set up. So the first thing I'm going to show is the retail price groups. So if you just want to create a new one, and we're going to call it Houston. We're going to have a special price for this store here in Houston. And we'll flag it as a retail price group. So if we then move over to the retail stores and find the Houston store here, there's then here the price groups. Right now this is set up for the central region, so I come in here, say add this new price group, and then we can assign trade agreements and or discount offers to this price group. So let's go over to the sales and marketing and actually create a trade agreement for this. We add the lines here. The sales price, we're setting it up for a price group, and we're going to pick the new one here from Houston, and then whatever product we want to select, and then set the actual price here. And then, as I mentioned, this is the find next box down here. We want to check this, so because if we create additional trade agreements for this specific product, we want to make sure that they're all evaluated and included in the calculation. Then the same thing here, you can then add additional lines. For example, if we say a line discount, and then here we would pick a line discount group. As you notice, the price group for the retail price group is not available for selection here, so you cannot assign it to a store. And then we can set up whatever 10% discount here. And we do the same thing of find next. Then there are the two options. You can do a validate, so that it kind of does a quick check to make sure all the price setups are correct. So this is all right. Then we post it, and then this actually creates the trade agreements, and they are now in effect. If we go back to the retail functionality, and then take a look at the price adjustment. So we can create a new one. The key thing is the status here. You can only add it a price adjustment or any of the discounts when it's disabled. So if it's enabled and actually active at the store, you would not be able to make any changes. Then the concurrency rule I'm going to go over when we talk about discounts, what that exactly does, but that kind of determines on if there are multiple price adjustments apply, how we are dealing with this. You can then specify the currency that it applies to, and then we're picking here the price group. This here is essentially sort of a template, you can specify it at the header level. So if you create a new line, this is the percentage that it will apply, but the actual lines will override what you set here. Then for the validation period, you got the option of a standard that then has just a start and end date, and the advanced has a similar start and end date, but you can have additional information on it, which I'll talk about then later. On the lines here, you can just add one by one. As I said, you can then use a category if you're using the BMX spiking, and then at the line level, you specify whatever the discount method is, the percentage, the amount, or an offer price. We'll just pick 10% off, which is picked up here. Then the other thing is you can really then go all the way down to like a variant. You just pick here, the same thing. We can do the filtering. Let's say for apparel, footwear, then specify the product, and then the individual variant thereof, and then give the same 10% discounts. And also we have then here the add products dialog that Jeff showed yesterday, so where you can then, based on the category, filter and add the products to it as well. There are a few other things that I want to quickly show here. There's detailed information, so you can provide some kind of description, disclaimer kind of type thing that you may use when you actually publish it and make it available to the customers, and all the way down that you actually can do the same thing for the line level. So for each line you can have additional descriptions, you can actually attach an image to it, and then if you publish it out, this is all associated with this. So it's the last thing. We actually setting this enabled, and then this price adjustment should be ready to go. So the next thing I want to talk about is the discounts. So there are 3 different discount types that are specific for retail. So they only apply at the POS, not in sales orders. There's the discount offer. This allows you to specify a percentage off, amount off, or a specific unit price. Is kind of similar to what I just showed you with the price adjustment. Then you have the quantity discount, where you can specify a percentage off or a specific unit price based on some quantity threshold. So whatever, 10% off if you buy 2, and 15% off if you buy 5, for example. And then the more interesting one is the mix and match discount. This lets you kind of configure the buy one, get one kind of scenarios. And there are a few things in terms of how you can set it up. You can basically just say a straight percentage off if all the items that are required are in the transaction. You can specify a deal price, a specific amount for this combination. That is kind of, almost think of it as like a kit pricing. You have to buy whatever your skis, your boots, your bindings, pick any one of them, and your total price for this whole kit is $500. And then the other option is the least expensive. So whatever basket you kind of configure that is required for this discount, POS will figure out which one is the least expensive line item on there and give that for free. And then the line-specific one lets you then specify at each line item that you added to it what actually happens, what discounts apply. So you could say, whatever, yes, you need, whatever your shoes have to be part of the deal but you get 0% off. And for the pants that also are part of the deal, you get 20% off. And then for the discount period, this is a setup where you have you just want to set up a special deal, let's say for the month of April. You have a start and end date there as well. And then within that time period, you can specify when it actually applies. So you can pick specific days. So you say it only applies on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then on top of that, you actually can specify a time period. So it is really from Monday from 3 to 5, and on Tuesday from like 2 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then only at those time periods, those discounts will apply. The concurrency rules is something new that we introduced in AX2012. In AX2009, the discount offers had like priority setting. So you could basically set a priority on any of those discounts. If multiple of them applied to one of the products in your POS transaction, it kind of would pick the first one or the highest priority one. It's not exactly the most flexible way of doing it, so we introduced those concurrency rules. And there are 3 of them. The exclusive one is kind of very straightforward. If one of the discounts that applies to this product is set to exclusive, it will override all the other discounts. That's the one that applies. Now, if there are multiple discounts that are set to exclusive, it will basically fall back to the best price. It will compare the discounts, whichever are the best price or the lowest price, and will apply those. The second option is then best price. It's pretty straightforward. It's, if multiple discounts apply to this line item, it will figure out which one is the lowest price and apply this. And then for the compounded is you have multiple ones, we kind of apply them in sequence. 10% off, another 20% off, another 5% off, or however many you have, and we are basically applying this. So that the compounded is sort of the lowest priority, if you will. So it really only applies if all discounts are set up that way. So that kind of just illustrates what I kind of talked about it. If you have those 2 discounts, discount A and B, 10% and 20% off. If you have set up the best price, so we're assuming the same $8 of the base price that we showed in the previous example, it will pick the 20%, and the final price is $6.40. And then the same discounts with the compounded, it applies to 10% first, 20% on top of it, and you end up with a total price of $5.76. So a couple of things that I kind of want to mention. I actually don't have a slide, and I think it will be covered later in the posting session as well. You actually can set up a specific posting rules based on the discounts. So you can say, I want to post those as expenses in a different account. So there's some configuration setting that you can do that as well. So the other thing that's kind of new in 2012 is the promotion publishing. It uses the site services. So you can set up a discount in AX and basically tie that then to the campaign management functionality in AX as well. So what you can do there is then basically specify that you either require this promotional coupon that is attached to this discount offer that will be then published out through the site services to either Twitter or Facebook. And then when the customer comes in with this coupon, they can whatever scan it or enter it at POS, and then that will trigger this discount offer. So this is just a quick example of what that would look like. You can set up the barcode that is then available. Here's then some of the discount offers like that I showed you. You can enter at the heading the images of the for the line items, this description of each of the discounts per line item, and then can get published out. Okay, with that we switch back to the demo. Creating a new discount here. I think this POS that we have set up is in Seattle, so we're using the West region. And then here's the checkbox if there's a discount code required. So if you check this, then this discount offer will only apply if you somehow enter this code into POS. So you would have to scan it or manually enter that. Then here are the concurrency rules. So I talked about it, the three options for exclusive, best price, or compounded. We're just selecting best price. The validation period, which is say this one applies all the time, no specific settings. And then we just add a couple of products to it. On this one we say 10% off. And we'll add a second one. And for this one, we're going to give 20% off. Set it to enable. And to kind of show how those concurrency rules work, we set up a quantity discount for the same two products. Western region price group, US dollar, best price here as well, and then we add the same two items to it. And we want to do the same thing. We're going to do the percentage off, and then we configure here in the configuration the quantity of 2, and we'll set it to 15% off. We'll send those discounts out to the store now. Should be done. And then at the POS, at the first item, it has the 10% off. If I add the second item, we got the 20% off here, and we increase the quantity to 2, and it didn't pick up the second discount. Not good. What went wrong here? Sorry, wrong one. Very good. So I actually can show you that that works too. All right. Let's try this one more time. And if we add this one, it should pick up to 15%. So the next one we're going to show is the mix and match. So we're going to create a new one here as well. The one thing that you noticed here for the mix and match discount, the only concurrency rule we're supporting is exclusive. This was kind of one of the decisions we made in terms of, since it's really complicated to kind of figure out what the best price would be if the item is in multiple mix and match discounts and other discount offers, because it's not just at the line level. You would have to evaluate potentially hundreds of products to come up with what the best price is, what combinations there would be. So we made the decision that those are just working exclusively. So it's a little bit of a limitation, but I think it's still good enough in terms of configuring most of the pricing scenarios. And then, excuse me, here are the options that I mentioned in terms of the deal price. You can then set here the actual price for the overall deal, for all the products that are affected by this discount. Or you set just a percentage off for all the items that are in there. Same token, then amount off. For the least expensive one, we'll pick whatever the least expensive product in here. We're just going to pick this one and say line specific. So we want to set the specific offers for each line here. So if we go here and can add our products, we'll say 0% discount for this line item. And the same thing for this one, 0% off. And we add a third one. And on this one, we're actually then specifying 50% off. There's then an additional thing here in terms of the line group that then allows you to group the actual line items that you added to the discount together. So what this means is, let's say we're creating two line groups. Line group A, and I'm saying, we need to buy 2 of all the products that are assigned to this line group, and then a second one, B, which is going to say we need 1. So in this scenario, we're saying, okay, we're picking 1 here. So if you have to buy 2 of those tires and 1 of the inner tubes, and then this deal will apply, and let's make sure we put right in it. There we go. Then the inner tube will be actually 50% off. And all right, this time I actually remember, we'll set it to enabled. We'll send it out to the store again. So we add the third tire, then let's say we add the inner tube. At this point, we actually have another discount that is in effect, like the grand opening discount for the inner tube, you would already get 25% off. So if I add a second tire, it actually now applies the 50% off that we have configured for this mix and match discount. The next topic is about price visibility in terms of showing what prices are actually applicable. So there are two separate ways of actually looking at it. You can come in through the channel and then look at what are all the products that are available for this channel and what are the actual prices that are applicable for this channel right now. On the reverse side, you can actually then come in from the product and then look at what channels is it available in, and then what is the price for each channel there. And then the other one that I kind of want to quickly highlight, it's actually nothing much in terms of it's just informational, but you actually could track competitive prices as well in terms of if you want to keep track of what the store across the street sells the product for. So this is just the view from the store. What are the products in there? What are the prices? This is then the flip side from the products. You're seeing what stores it's available in and what the price is in all those stores for that product. And then, as I said, there's just a sort of informational form. You can capture prices and keep track of what the competitors' prices are as well. And then we're going to do a quick demo on this as well. We come in here to the store and let's pick the Seattle store that we actually set up the products for. I got the price list here. Kind of shows all the products that are available there based on the assortment. This is sort of the base price based on this, selling unit 1. And then here it shows you if there were any price adjustments that were set up for any of those, and then the discount offers. You see like all the discounts that we just configured here that we will show you. So right now we're just showing the discount number there. We're not actually trying to calculate the price of what, do a what if, like what if they actually bought 3 of them, what would the price be? But at least you have a view of what is the base price, what are the discount offers, price adjustments, etc. that apply to this product in this retail channel, basically. Then on the flip side, if we go back to products, released products, we pick one of those items here. On the retail tab, there's the price list here as well. So this just shows it in a different way. It shows you all the stores that this product is sold in, the prices there, this price adjustment that we set up earlier, and then also some of the other discount offers that apply to this product here. And then there's another functionality that is actually part of the Core AX functionality, so it really just works on trade agreements and doesn't consider any of our discount offers. It's under sales and marketing. There is this inquiry form here called prices. And in this scenario, you really can basically pick whatever your customer, you pick your product, enter the quantity here, and it will do some kind of calculation here in terms of what are all the trade agreements that are in effect right now, calculate the price based on your configuration here, and kind of display it.